Times it was obvious he wasn't the father on paternity court.
If this not my baby, I'm through with this relationship.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
To the hospital and seen that baby. She knew it wasn't.
You wanted to have a baby by him.
It was the best sex of my life. I will admit that.
When there's a paternity dispute and families are at stake, Judge Lake can be your only hope.
My family's on the line. I love Jordan. We've been dating going on 7 years. Been dating since the 10th grade. And the denying that he has towards my 1-month-old child, Joaquin, which we play in the house together, is causing problems with our relationship.
She did that. She did that to herself.
This is how Mr. Irvin found out that he was being cousined.
One day I couldn't sleep, so here it is 4 in the morning. I seen her sleeping and her phone was right beside her. Some told me to just go through her phone. So I found out that she spent the night at her friend's house with this other guy.
But I came to him and let him know that I cheated on him.
Well, thanks for the great revelation. Well, at least she was being honest.
She always going out with her friends. He could never
He go out with his friends too, also. Yes, he do.
No, he don't.
Yes, he do.
Hold on. You said you cheated. How did you end up cheating?
I cheated the night of my friend's dinner because I had wanted to get revenge for him cheating on me. Once I talked to the guy and I hooked up with him the night of my friend's dinner, and we had used protection, and I had sex with him one time.
Guess what? This woman also ruined her own pregnancy report.
She scribbled over it and wrote what she wanted on the paperwork.
What was on the line that talked about how many weeks along?
I couldn't tell because she wrote over it.
What was written over it?
Just like a scribble.
You can't even read what was written over it.
No, ma'am.
I had doubts like why I can't understand the right. And so I'm thinking in my head that she trying to cover up that she pregnant by somebody else.
Even after such fishy incidents, Mr. Irvin stepped up for the sake of the child.
I was even there when she had the baby.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
And you signed the birth certificate even though you had doubt? Why?
Cause I wasn't sure whether he was mine or not, and I wanted to do the right thing by it, cause I was there. So I just signed the birth certificate like I did my other 2 sons.
I truly understand your sentiment and that it comes from a good place.
We do appreciate what he did, but you can't be too generous when it comes to the law.
Don't sign that birth certificate because whether that's your child or not, that's acknowledging, hey, I'm gonna be there for this child for 18 years. That's my child.
So, Miss Fonzie, I want to understand. You admitted to this affair. You said it was once, we got past it, we went on to try to plan and have our baby.
Yes.
Do you have any doubt?
No, I don't have any doubt because they look alike, and they all have knock knees just like Jordan.
The other man also gave his statement to the court.
We eventually got each other's phone numbers and started texting. She told me about the things that was going on between her and Jordan. The first time me and her had sex, she came over and saw me. We had sex in Jordan's car.
That's a
did use
somebody made a fake
protection.
page. That's a lie.
You said
Jordan,
it.
that's a lie. You know that.
Hold on.
Which pushed the baby daddy to his edge.
If this not my baby, I'm through with this relationship.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Let me finish the statement. We kept sleeping with each other 3 to 4 times after that with no condom. This was between the months of October 2017 and November 2017.
So the judge gave the baby mama one more chance to come clean before the verdict was announced.
Did you have sex with this other man more than one time?
Yes, Your Honor. It was more than one time.
Okay.
You lied. You lied to me.
What was your relationship like with this other man?
I just wanted to get revenge. That's the reason why I had sex with him more than one time, but it's like, it ain't no relationship.
Now, it was time for the result.
The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I know what I told you. I knew it wasn't his baby.
Jordan,
When
hold on.
we went to the hospital and seen that baby, she knew it wasn't.
You wanted to have a baby by him.
You gotta stop.
Ladies,
You need to calm down.
ladies,
Okay?
listen.
Take a deep breath.
In light of her daughter-in-law's confession of swindling, this mother-in-law wants justice for her son.
Ms. Tucker, you and your son, Mr. Riley, are here today to determine the paternity of his alleged 4-month-old baby. You state that his wife, Mrs. Riley, admitted to having sex with 2 different men. You argue that your son's wife lies and cheats, and
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
here hoping to put an end to their marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, and what Ms. Riley testified didn't make things look good either.
Now, Mrs. Riley, you admit to having a one-night stand with one potential father, as well as a month-long affair with another man.
Yes, Your
While
Honor.
married to Mr. Riley.
But she defended herself like this.
I ain't married married to her. I'm married to my husband, James Riley.
And he's still my son and will be my son to the
And
day
he's
I
still
die.
my husband. I'm not going nowhere.
So whatever. Miss Tucker.
Get over.
She even gave the reason why she went astray.
What happened, me and him was fighting. It got escalated. I called a family member. He had a friend, Mr. Schaefer. They helped me move some things in, and I moved out. We was all hanging out, having a good time, drinking. The guy was ugly. I didn't even like him. It was the best sex of my life. I will admit that.
Here goes a video statement from the other potential father.
After I messed around with her, she texts my family like every day, wanting to hang out. You know, I still text her for a little bit, but she started getting like stalker. And I found out she was married after I messed around with her, and I'm like, I can't do that. You know, first she's a married woman. You know, two, she's ugly. Three, you know,
Got
don't
that
even know
right.
who she is.
No.
After this, the boyfriend topic was brought up.
I left my husband for the boyfriend. I kept telling the boyfriend I miss my husband. I want to be with him. That's who I've been with for 5 years of my life. That's the only man I really know. I go back to my husband. I explained my boyfriend didn't have nowhere to go. He was going to be homeless. I felt bad for the guy. I asked my husband if it would be okay if he stayed with us till he got on his feet.
Oh, how big of her for doing so.
Mr. Riley, your husband, if your boyfriend,
And he
who
was
you
okay
laid
with
up
it.
at the hotel with
He
for
was
2
okay with
weeks,
it.
could come and stay because he didn't have anywhere to go.
She lied.
She lied.
She
He
lied.
was okay with
He
it.
could stay with his father.
He
Mr.
said
Riley,
no, it's fine.
Mr. Riley, please tell me you said no.
I didn't.
They
Yeah,
was
I
like
felt bad
buddies.
for him. She told me that he didn't have no place to go.
And she pulled this act too.
Slept with them both during that
Yes,
time.
I will admit to that because I was confused.
Hello.
I was confused at that time. I had my husband.
I told you.
Hold on.
All this had taken a toll on the guy at the podium.
He's been born. He was there when he was born. Who went? I would fall in love with a child if I was around it all the time, which I've never got to
So
see
why are
because
you
she
here?
knows.
You're
You
so
lied to
happy.
his
So
son.
why are you here?
Ladies, the bottom line is not only does he have the right to know whether or not he's the child's father, the child has a right to know if he's his father.
The conception calendar showed this in the court.
So for the months of June and July, the estimated date of conception is the 2nd of July. You admit to being romantically involved with your boyfriend and your husband in the same time frame, though.
Yeah.
And then you admit to having that one-night stand all within the window of conception.
Oh, yes.
Listening to both sides, the judge slapped this truth in the defendant's face.
He may not have given you the attention you needed, but he most certainly gave you a lot of forgiveness that I'm not sure even I could have given. So the only way we're going to be able to see how and what we should do from here is to get the results. Okay?
Now it was time for the results.
These results were also prepared by DNA Diagnostics as it relates to Tucker versus Riley. When it comes to 4-month-old Bryson Riley, Mr. Riley, you are not the father.
That's okay.
This engagement may not last if the defendant is not the baby's daddy.
Ms. Smith, you are here in court today because you claim a miscalculation during your pregnancy has left you unsure about the paternity of your 4-month-old son, Lamontre. Now, today you hope to determine whether your ex-boyfriend or the defendant, Mr. Brooker, fathered your child.
Yes, Your
And Mr. Brooker, you're Ms. Smith's fiance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
This was his reaction to the pregnancy revelation.
She sent me a text saying it was important and she needed to talk to me. And I was like, okay. And I'm laying down and she said, I just went to the doctor and I found out I was 6 weeks instead of 8. And I'm like, my heart dropped. I was like, oh my God. She said it may be a possibility. She was sure of who it was. And we were the only, me and her ex were the only 2 dudes that she was with during the time.
The baby mama had brought evidence to kick sense in the confusion.
These are the dates I actually went to the doctor, and they gave me a due date of April 9th, and they said I was 8 or 9 weeks pregnant.
Right.
I was stating that me and Mr. Brooker had sex August on the 14th. And then that's when I went to the doctor again on the 24th, and they gave me a date of May 13th. And at that time, I'm like, that corresponds with the time me and him started having sex.
But it made things more higgledy-piggledy.
But only a month early based upon the first 2 appointments.
Exactly.
And the doctors, they weren't certain whether he was 1 or 2 months
Exactly.
premature. Wow.
Oh, that's a lot, don't you think?
Mr. Brooker, you had doubts.
I had doubts, I did, but at the same time, like I told her, through the time we were together, I actually ended up falling in love with her. So regardless,
you did?
Yes, ma'am. Regardless whether the result came out of the baby was to be mine or not, I was gonna be there. I even gave him my name.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What about the ex? Where his priorities lie?
What were you telling your ex?
Well, I'll let him know up front that, you know, Trey could possibly be the father, but he was really upset because it would have been his first child, and that would have just made him happy. But he said that whatever happens, he want to be there and he want to be supportive. So I was like, okay. But at the same time, he was sad. But at that time...
Did he go to doctor's appointments?
Yes.
Things had changed for the couple since the baby's birth.
Your cousin brought an at-home DNA test.
Yes, ma'am.
But the baby wasn't at home yet, right?
Oh,
He was
no.
still in the
He was
hospital.
still in the hospital. He was in the NIC. I swabbed him like the first.
In the NIC unit?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
They
took
let
him
you
out.
do that?
Yes, ma'am.
The baby was 2 days old and you bought a home DNA test and went into the intensive care unit.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see how it ends for them.
In the case of Smith v. Brooker, as it pertains to 4-month-old Lamontre Brooker, Mr. Brooker, you are not his father.
Little London's dad is curious if he's her biological father.
Mr. Mitchell, you say nothing would make you happier than finding out you are London's biological father. But you are in court today believing there is no way you are. You say if the DNA results prove you are not the father, next month's wedding is off.
Yes, Your Honor.
The other potential father had no idea till this day that Miss Lohman was getting cozy with another man.
You're still in a relationship with this boyfriend at the time, am I correct, Ms. Lohman?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what was that situation like?
He never found out, and to this day, he still doesn't know.
He does not know to this day that you were also sleeping with Mr. Mitchell.
Right, Your Honor.
Was this just a one-time thing when you all ended up having sex, or did it continue?
It continued.
Were you using protection?
No, Your Honor.
This is how she handled the situation.
Why did you think it was his if you knew you were also having sex with Mr. Mitchell?
At the time, I was with him, so I wanted to make myself believe that it was my ex's.
Oh,
because
okay. So, Mr. Mitchell, were you all dating now, you and Ms. Lohman?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. We were not dating at the time. I told him there was a possibility. I was still with my ex at the time.
But things changed after the doctor's appointment.
We were sitting at home, and I told him, I was like, there is a possibility that London could be yours, and because I looked at the dates. And then after she was born, I was like, Mr. Mitchell, she looks just like you. I was like, she has your eyes, the same exact eye color.
But just because she has blue eyes and blonde hair doesn't mean she's mine. You
Yes,
had to
but
say-
my ex had light blue eyes. Jonathan has dark blue eyes. London has dark blue eyes.
Mr. Mitchell had grown this bond with the little baby girl.
He has been there from day one. He takes care of her, he watches her, he has become so attached to this baby, and he has treated her as if he's known all along that she is his. But the doubts are there, if he is in fact for certain her father, or if he's not.
Now it was time for the little reality check for the plaintiff.
You truly believe he's London's biological father, rooted in the fact that you love him so much? Or, as she just said, you feel like he's gonna do right by the baby? What I'm saying is both of those two arguments, you understand, have absolutely no bearing on the paternity question.
Yes, Your Honor.
By this time, the judge was ready for the result.
In the case of Lohman versus Mitchell, when it comes to 10-month-old London Leona Lohman, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Mitchell, you are not the father.
Even after that, London did not get her happy ending.
Miss Lohman, I can tell that was not the news you were expecting to hear.
No, Your Honor.
I'm keep going. Stay her dead.
You want to still stay in her life.
Yes.
An Atlanta, Georgia woman is seeking paternity for her ex, who refused to father the child due to his green eyes.
Mr. Brady, you claim it is genetically impossible that you are Caleb's father, and therefore the plaintiff needs to get her child expenses from her son's real daddy.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
So, Ms. Sanders, what has Mr. Brady done exactly?
He has not done anything, Your Honor. I have to get Caleb baby food. I have to get him diapers, clothes, everything, and that is not cheap.
Caleb wasn't his son.
Why would I visit a baby that's not mine?
Look how pretty my baby is. How can you deny a pretty baby?
I don't care about the baby being pretty. I care about if the baby mine or not.
Why
I
would you
take
wait
care
this
of my
long?
responsibility, not another man's.
What was the reason for doubt? This?
My grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. Me, I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby. Because it ain't my family. And I'm looking at them, it ain't their family either.
Well, maybe.
And he was not allowed around the baby for a long time.
You're saying she didn't even inform you that she was pregnant?
She told me in the beginning.
In the beginning?
Yes.
But then when is this time you had to pop up at the house?
This was after the baby was born.
Okay, so when she told you she was pregnant, why didn't you go to an appointment?
I tried.
Participate.
I initially tried to go to the appointments, Your Honor.
While the baby mama defended herself like this.
It's my baby. Why was she
He asked about some shoes. He wanted
you to get him some shoes?
Yes, me and him, we talked about getting some shoes. So he never had a job or anything, so why would I put a baby on someone who couldn't even help me take care of the baby?
But he says you had another man sign the birth certificate.
Yes, my ex-boyfriend, before me and Jamaris got together, I was with someone. And to get back at my ex-boyfriend, me and Jamaris started talking.
After her ex was out of the picture, the mister at the podium was her only option.
You found out that he was not the father.
Yes.
And after you got that conclusion, you knew that at this point, Mr. Brady was the only other option?
Yes.
And you're positive that he was the only other option?
Yes.
If she was sure that the baby's mine, why would she let him sign the birth certificate instead of telling me out the dribble? Like,
I've been told him that I was pregnant, he never cared.
Let me see the birth certificate, sir.
But wait, there was another guy who Mr. Brady believed could be a father.
You're saying you had a job for 9 months?
Yes, ma'am.
And she was texting the coworker?
Yes.
When was she texting this coworker?
We was on the line one day. I used his phone to call someone. A number comes through, which is Miss Sanders' phone number.
I don't know. It wasn't.
So are you saying this was during the window of conception, so you believe she was also sleeping with your coworker when she was sleeping with you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Nonetheless, even the witness was sure that Mr. Brady was the father.
Your daughter said to you that there are no other possibilities. You've asked her.
Honestly, Your Honor, no, I have not asked her because she said to me that he is the only other potential. So did I go in and go behind her and say, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? No. She said he was one potential and the other. Well, she tested him, and now we're here with this situation, so.
And here goes the green eye part.
Both brown eyes, but then they got a blue eye baby.
Wherever his daddy at, he got some nice eyes.
Yeah, he do, and he's standing right there just because your eyes don't look like Nando.
To me, it doesn't matter.
Here he go. I told y'all that's not my baby. Y'all look, this is not my baby. Look his eye, that's not my baby.
Well, it'd be nice if somebody else knew besides me.
Okay, enough of this. Let's get some truth.
In the case of Sanders versus Brady, pertaining to 6-month-old Caleb Robinson, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brady, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Your Honor.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there.
Stop clowning, man. There's a child's future at stake.
It was no one else. It was no one else.
Had to be.
It was no one else.
It has to be somebody else.
Gotta be somebody.
It has to be one other person at least. Obviously, you have some thinking to do. If you're saying you have no idea, you gotta start trying to figure this out. Now, Mr. Brady, you've maintained from the beginning that it was not your child. And in fact, the DNA proved just that.